There are a number of languages used in Ireland. Since the late 18th century, English has been the predominant first language, displacing Irish. A large minority claim some ability to use Irish, and it's the first language for a small percentage of the population. In the Republic of Ireland, under the Constitution of Ireland, both languages have official status, with Irish being the national and first official language. Northern Ireland has no official language, but English is the de facto official language of the United Kingdom, and Irish and Ulster Scots are recognized regional languages. For most of Irish history, the English ruled Ireland, but the language only really began to decline after 1600, when the last of the Gaelic chieftains were defeated. While the Irish language was never banned or persecuted, it was discouraged, and there was no one to support the Irish language and culture. It was the language English slowly spread, especially in the East and in Dublin, the capital, while Irish remained strong in the West. By 1800, Ireland was roughly balanced between the two languages. There were two major events that destroyed Irish. The first was the Great Famine in 1845, which hit the Irish-speaking West hardest of all. Out of a population of 8 million, roughly 1 million people died and another million emigrated. From then on, emigration became a common part of Irish society, as a huge number of Irish left the country every year, primarily to English-speaking countries like Britain and America. This meant that most Irish people needed to speak English in the likely event that they would leave home. English was a necessity. English was the language of the future and of economic opportunity. Irish was the past and the language of a poverty-stricken Iceland that couldn't support them. The second major event was the advent of education. Starting in the 1830s, national schools were created across Ireland to educate people through English, and Irish was strictly forbidden. While nothing could be done to prevent Irish from being spoken in the home, it was strongly discouraged and shamed. Irish was depicted as an ignorant peasant's language, while English was the language of sophistication and wealth. Poor potato farmers spoke Irish, while rich and successful businessmen spoke English. Other organizations too promoted English, such as the Catholic Church, and even nationalist politicians like Daniel O'Connell traded to the most remote and underdeveloped parts of the country. When Ireland became independent in 1922, the state officially encouraged the language and made knowledge of it mandatory for state jobs. However, the newly independent state was very poor and recovering from a bitter civil war and didn't have the resources of the national will for a full revival. It couldn't change the fundamental fact that people needed English, not Irish, to find work and make a living. However, while government support slowed the decline, too much damage had already been done.